The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Coming up on the broadcast tonight, campus officials have released a blueprint outlining what Salisbury's campus will look like for future students. We will also talk to a newly elected SGA president, Evan Miller, telling us what kind of activities to expect next year and why students should get involved. And Travis Bush has your weather forecast for this weekend's Golf Fest. Plus, we will have a special Salisbury-themed TBT. This is SUTV Evening News.
Good evening, Salisbury University, and welcome to SUTV Evening News at 7 on this Thursday, April 10th. I'm Sarah Gisriel.
And I'm Taylor Rogers. As spring has swept its way across campus, it's brought forth a new outlook for the future of our campus. Yesterday, master planning consultants held 3 open forum sessions in the Scarborough Leadership Center, open to not only SU's community, but its public as well. The consultants shared their observations from all across campus and provided many principles, concepts to benefit the university.
Some topics addressed at the session were the possible renovations of Maggs, Devilbus, and Fulton buildings and the probability of rebuilding Dogwood Village. In addition to these was the response for parking on West Campus while there's still open availability left on East Campus.
I think that we heard that there was a need for more parking, but the reality as we've gone back and looked at the numbers, it's not necessarily a need for more parking, it's the proximity of that parking that is the challenge. So there's a need for more parking next to the exact building that people want to go to, but there's plenty of parking way far out on East Campus that hasn't been utilized.
The main point of interest presented by the consultants was creating a more diverse campus as a whole. Though Route 13 creates a divide between both sides, it's been proposed to create a collective university look and build several entrances surrounding SU. This would help acknowledge our university's presence better and significantly the environment.
This right now is kind of what you have, and you've got really great wooded areas that I think can be enhanced and utilized in a better way. You see this forest is really this grove is actually pretty nice, but it has some issues with the turf underneath, and those can be enhanced.
Afterwards, they opened the floor on any questions or recommendations to our campus's future possibilities.
Parking assumes a car-centric community, yet a lot of universities and cities are moving away from that. In your 10-year plan discussions, are you thinking that maybe that question will look very different 10 years from now?
I have a presence downtown now with an art gallery, and in the past there had been talk of increasing that presence, even putting student housing down there. And many in the town are trying to energize downtown. Any thoughts about the plan in terms of our connection to downtown?
Renovations or with the new buildings being created, is there going to be a push for gender-neutral housing or gender-neutral bathrooms or private spaces such as that? I am speaking on behalf of the LGBTQ Alliance. I noticed that a lot of people are really starting to push for that in larger universities, and I feel like it would be a great addition.
The consultants will be holding another session next month to explain the process of implicating our future growth. If you'd like to see a full outline of all ideas discussed, visit the Sustainability website.
Well, last Friday, the voting results were released for the SGA elected officials. We caught up with the soon-to-be president, Evan Miller, to talk about his initial reaction to being president and his future plans for students.
We actually got told as of last Friday. It was about 5:20ish or so in the afternoon. Actually, my email must have been lagging a little bit because I got text messages from friends saying congratulations. So I assumed it was for student government, but I knew it was a good thing, which was pretty cool. We have a couple things in store. One is first off is kind of working with the politics side of the student government, writing up bills and resolutions and things like that to try and change around campus. Me personally, I have a couple goals in mind. One is I've been working this past year with the alumni board about the idea of actually bringing back tailgating to campus. There's a lot of issues involved with that, so we'll see how that floor plan goes. I'm starting to put into the works now of how I have it imaged in my head of being set up. That will hope not only benefit the students, but also the administration and staff. Another idea also is the extension of Gull's Nest Eatery, to extending it to about 1 o'clock in the morning. It provides safety for the students to stay on campus for late night eateries, but also gives it an option for more food choices to choose from, especially those that may have dining dollars or things like that. The last thing is just mostly working collaboratively with my new staff. We still have 3 more positions that need to be filled, but as they come into play, we're going to get our new exec board together, have a couple meetings before the end of school, and kind of get to know what we're looking into doing for next fall semester and next spring semester. My big thing is not even relating just to SGA, but next year, especially for the incoming students, I want them to get involved in some sort of way on campus, whether it's a club or organization, sports team, whatever, because I find that those students are the ones that stay actively involved on campus. They want to get out. It's a great way to meet new students especially, and kind of just get involved with what they have to utilize here.
We will be hearing from most of the recently elected officials in the upcoming weeks. The cashier's office announced that they will be going green this week by no longer accepting paper bills in the mail as payments. Any payments that need to be made must be done using Gallnet under the Bills Payment Pay Plan Refunds tab. There you can view your standard statement to see if your account has any balance that needs to be paid. Emails will be sent as reminders for payments.
Well, many things have been occurring around all Maryland campuses this week. Sarah Thompson has all those updates in this week's Campus Connection.
Tonight on Campus Connection, we will be focusing on a film festival at Stevenson University, a flood at Towson University, and an arrest at the University of Maryland. An arrest has been made in connection with a peeping Tom case inside a women's bathroom on the University of Maryland's College Park campus. Police on Monday arrested Ernest Akatora Marfo, 21 of Reisertown, and charged him with visual surveillance, disturbing activities at a school or college, and molesting or threatening students or school personnel in connection with an incident at the school's biology-psychology building. A device was discovered in La Plata Hall around 8:45 p.m. April 2nd, and another incident was reported in Centerville Hall around 6:30 p.m. April 4th. The Towson Cook Library was flooded this past weekend due to Sunday's inclement weather. Dean of University Libraries Deborah Nolan has said that all of Cook's library services will remain available to students. The flooding, which mostly affected administrative offices, areas, supplies, is thought to have been caused by clogged drain lines which have since been cleared. And Stevenson University held its annual Student Film Festival this past Friday, April 4th, at the School of Design Soundstage on the Owing Mills North Campus. The event, in its 5th year, featured short films by Stevenson students. A panel of industry leaders judged their work, and the festival served as a prime opportunity for Stevenson students to take what they have learned in the classroom and showcase their work on a professional stage. That's it for this week's Campus Connection. I'm Sarah Thompson. Now back to you, Taylor and Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah. The softball and men's lacrosse have been continuing their victorious traditions. Amanda has all the gritty details every fan needs to know about Seagull spring sports.
The number 17 men's baseball team finished their conference portion of the season yesterday against Marymount, winning 4-2 and improving their record to 21-7. Sophomore pitcher Connor Shockley was able to record the win for the Gulls. The Seagulls will be playing a doubleheader against Southern Virginia this Saturday. The game is set to begin at 12 p.m. The number 1 women's softball team won both of their games against Wesleyan College, winning their first game 10-0 and their second game 6-0. Congratulations to junior pitcher Rachel Johnson for being named NFCA Pitcher of the Week. This is the second time this season, and they are now 27-1. Saturday, they will be hosting Mary Washington. The first pitch of the doubleheader is set to begin at 12 p.m. And the number 1 women's lacrosse team had an 18-10 victory over Christopher Newport yesterday. Junior Shelby Nemechek recorded a career high of 6 goals. This Saturday, the undefeated Seagulls will be playing against the number 4 undefeated College of New Jersey. That sounds like a very intense game to me. Face-off is set to begin at 1 p.m. And the number 5 men's lacrosse team had a huge victory against Wesleyan College Tuesday evening, winning 25-6. Sophomore midfielder Thomas Cirillo and junior attackman Mike Kane both led the team with 4 goals each. Senior goalie Alex Taylor recorded the win. This Friday, the Seagulls will be hosting number 2 Calabrini College. Face-off is set to begin at 7 p.m. And now back to you guys.
Thanks, Amanda. And now to a more somber note. A 16-year-old boy went on a stabbing rampage at his high school in Murrayville, Pennsylvania yesterday. The suspect, identified as Alex Harrell, stabbed 21 of his classmates in the hallways of his school around 7:15 a.m. 4 of these victims are said to be in critical condition. One of the doctors treating some of the teens said that they were stabbed, that many of the victims were not aware they were stabbed right away due to the crowded nature of the hallway. Alex used 2 kitchen knives for the attack and was eventually brought down by an assistant principal who tackled and disarmed him. Alex is being held without bail in a Westmoreland County Juvenile Center where he will receive psychiatric evaluation. His motives for the attacks are still unclear.
On Monday afternoon, the Maryland State Senate voted on decriminalizing the possession of small amounts of marijuana. The new bill came to a 34-8 vote, imposing only civil fines rather than criminal sanctions for those caught with less than 10 grams of the drug. Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley admitted he would sign the bill saying, quote, "I now think it is an acknowledgement of the low priority that our courts, our prosecutors, our police, and the vast majority of citizens already attach to this transgression of public order and health." According to a study by the Pew Research Center for the People and the Press, Maryland would join 24 other states that have either decriminalized, approved for medicinal purposes, or legalized marijuana. And now we'll take a look at other political matters impacting our community. Here's Sarah Wood with your government update.
And now for your government updates. On Wednesday, Senate Republicans shot down a bill that aimed to even the pay gap between both men and women. GOP members' argument focused on the laws against pay discrimination and that the, quote, Paycheck Fairness Act would possibly lead to the interference of government in the workplace. And we spoke to City Council President Jake Day about the city administrator and the assistant city administrator, Terrence Arrington, or Tom Stevenson's deputy.
City Council also recently affirmed or confirmed the mayor's nomination for city administrator. Tom Stevenson, who's been the acting city administrator for several months.
And with crime still in sight, we spoke to Jake Day about his thoughts on the Salisbury area and what to watch for.
Anytime crime happens in your community, which is unfortunately every day, every hour in any community in America, you hate it. It's awful, and it feels awful, and it makes you feel unsafe. So it's unfortunate because a feeling of safety, I think, contributes to the strongest possible community.
All for your government update. Now back to you, Taylor and Sarah.
And speaking of safety, Safe Ride, a student-run organization, continues to secure students during the late hours of the weekend. Here's Brooke Reese with that story.
Well, Safe Ride is an organization that is completely student-run, and what we do is on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, we'll go out, usually between the hours of 10 and 2, just to ride around, pick up students that have called us when they don't have any other means to get home or it's not safe for them to get home by themselves. So we'll do that. We also do different things around the community. We did a door tag event, so we kind of put the word out about Safe Ride just to say, we're not just taking kids to and from parties, we're helping them get home safely when they can't do so for themselves.
And we also spoke with Devin Moreno, the Senior Vice President of Operations, to find out how students can benefit from using Safe Ride.
We've been in service this year is actually the 20th anniversary of Safe Ride, and it started in 1993. You actually never know when you're saving a life, and that's what I really enjoy doing for them. It follows back with our mission statement. Our mission statement is to provide a safe and anonymous ride home from any situation that you're in. So you could be out in the streets of Salisbury by yourself. We should be there to help you. If you're stranded somewhere, we're going to be there to help you. Even if someone is intoxicated or not intoxicated, we are that safe ride home for you.
So coming up this semester, we'll have our 5K JDL Memorial Run, and that is for a student that has passed away, and he was very active in Safe Ride, very active in the fishing club, and so we incorporate that into a memorial run for him to help raise money for that awareness and also to help Safe Ride raise money for those events.
Reporting for SUTV News, this is Brooke Reese.
For more information, visit Safe Ride's website or stop by their office. The Guerrero University Center hosted a cake decorating class in Gull's Nest dining area last week. Participants were provided with free cake, icing, and decorating materials while receiving tips from one of our university chefs. Students were able to show off their artistic skills while indulging in their sweet tooth under the guidance of a professional. Students who missed this event can look forward to a sushi class that will be offered later in the semester. Any student who wishes to attend this event can receive information at the Guerrero Help Desk.
This week, SOAP offered students a chance to make their own personal street sign. On Tuesday, all were welcome to Fireside Lounge to come design a maroon and gold sign to express their individuality. We spoke with one of SOAP's members to describe the purpose of this event.
An event like this is great because everyone gets to get a souvenir from Salisbury, hold on to those memories, remember what SOAP is, have some fun, express their personalities, feelings, mementos, anything like that.
If you haven't picked up the latest edition of the flyer, Miranda Haney highlights some of the articles you can expect to read in this week's campus newspaper.
This is Miranda Haney with another edition of This Week in the Flyer. Taking over the front page is Shannon Wiley's article on Brianna McKinnon's experiences volunteering in Kenya titled SU Alumna Travels to Save Lives. Wiley writes how McKinnon ended up with her position with the Catholic Medical Mission Board, the struggles she has encountered, and the amazing things that she has seen. For more details on McKinnon's journey abroad, check out Wiley's article and McKinnon's blog entitled Let's Get Lost in the World Together. In the editorial section, Stephen Seneme writes about the many different presentations he encountered at the University of Kentucky in his article titled My Experience at the NCUR. One of 25 SU students in attendance, Seneme writes what he liked and disliked about the National Conference on Undergraduate Research. Seneme points out overall that it is a great opportunity that more students should take advantage of. Chris Krause writes about a disturbing new obsession in his article entitled Animal Hoarding, When Too Much is Too Much. Krause informs of twins who owned over 100 cats. To see how that turned out, turn to page 4 of this week's flyer. In the Our View, titled Another Disastrous Campaign Finance Ruling, the authors discuss their concerns of the recent Supreme Court decisions to strike down campaign finance barriers and how it will affect college students. The fear expressed is that the government of many is becoming the government of money. Check out the Goal Life section for the outcome of the annual mock rock competition. Jessica Goodall sums up the night pulled together by Alpha Sigma Tau to fundraise for Habitat for Humanity. And that's all for this week's edition. Now back to Sarah and Taylor.
And thanks, Miranda. Well, since it's Thursday, it's only fitting for our throwback segment to take a look back on some SU historic moments.
On November 11, 1925, the Chesapeake Royal Arch Chapter 17 unveiled a flagstaff and pedestal with a bronze tablet on the campus in honor of the members of the chapter who had participated in World War I.
In 1966, Pocomoke Hall was in the process of being constructed and completed in the following year. Pocomoke was originally a traditional male student residence hall located on the south side of the quad. The residence hall was built with 4 floor levels, a lower level, and 3 upper levels, housing 77 students. After the renovation in 2010, the building turned into a co-educational facility with a suite-style design alternating between male and female suites on a suite-to-suite-by-suite basis.
And with the demolition of Carruthers Hall, let's reflect on the career of Thomas Jefferson Carruthers. 79 years ago this month, Carruthers replaced Dr. William Holloway as principal for what was then called Salisbury Normal School. He had also become the supervisor of rural practice teaching, taught psychology, founded the math department, and played the cello in the school orchestra. Dr. Carruthers retired from Salisbury State Teachers College in 1955, and when asked what the biggest change he witnessed during his time at Salisbury, he replied, broadening subject matter.
And Gulf Fest is right around the corner this weekend, so if you're hoping for some warm weather, let's send it over to meteorologist Travis Bush to let us know what we can expect. Travis?
Thanks, guys. Taking a look at the clouds, you can see the cold front that'll be pushing through our area tomorrow night. Right now it's over the Great Lakes region. It won't bring much of a change to our temperatures. In fact, the temperatures will rise as we go through the weekend because the front, as it moves southeast, will fizzle out, only bringing a slight chance of rain for us tomorrow night into Saturday. Now, for our forecast leading into the week, there is a high pressure system that will be situated off the Atlantic coast, and the flow around that will usher in the warm southerly flow, which will allow temperatures for your Monday to reach 75, possibly 80 degrees. If the thermometer does hit 80, it will be the first time since the beginning of October, so a little more than 6 months. Now, for your next 36 hours, tonight, you can expect clear skies, temperatures dropping only to 49 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny skies, temperatures rising up to 75 degrees. Tomorrow night, as that front approaches our area, we will see a slight chance of rain, lows only dropping to 51 degrees. So for tomorrow morning, you can see the cold front is a little bit closer to area with some light showers with it. However, like I said, it will fizzle out by the time we roll into Saturday morning. You can see the slight chance of rain. Again, not much. It'll affect your weekend weather. So for your next 7 days, you can expect, like I said, sunny skies tomorrow, high of 75. Rain early on Saturday, but it will diminish by 10 a.m. Highs mid-60s. Sunday, Monday, temperatures 75 degrees, possibly 80 on Monday, depending on how strong the southerly flow is. Tuesday, we see a cold front come through, and depending on the timing of that front, I would not be surprised if we do see some thunder, possibly some severe storms. But skies do clear Wednesday and Thursday. However, temperatures will be around 60 degrees. So for this weekend is Golf Fest. For your Golf Fest forecast, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, expect sunny skies, warm temperatures, perfect way to head out to the concert. That's all for us. Have a good weekend. Back to you guys.
So it looks like it's going to be sunny. Are you excited about Golf Fest this weekend?
I'm very excited about Golf Fest. I cannot wait for Sunday to hear all the kind of bands for this weekend, especially if it's going to be really good weather. I'm really excited about that.
I feel the same way. A lot of people will have some complaints, but I think that there are going to be 3 great acts, and it's going to be a really good time. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week with even more news and updates.
Coming up next is another episode of Sports Night from all of us here at SUTV Evening News. Have a great weekend.